Good evening. Price tag £1 billion. It's the newest in Britain. Now, Pembroke power station is at the centre of a row over environmental breaches. This leaked document, seen exclusively by BBC Wales, shows the European Commission thinks that laws are being broken. It's asked the UK government to explain just what's going on. It's alleged there have been 18 violations since the plant opened 3 months ago. Here's our environment correspondent, Yolo Dafydd.
It's the newest power station in Britain and was opened in September, but it's already proving to be controversial. And now the European Commission is asking the UK government to prove if the plant is harming a conservation area in Pembrokeshire.
The cooling system that they're using in this plant is what we're really concerned about. It takes water in at one end and pumps it out at the other, and it raises the temperature of the water by about 8 degrees when it comes out into the estuary, and it takes in potentially millions of fish and other forms of life, and they inject biocides into the water as well. So the UK normally should have done the assessment first, because this power plant is in an area which is a special area of conservation.
3 months since the official opening of the Pembroke power station, the European Commission's first ever infringement notice to a power station in Britain shows it has serious concerns about its impact on the Cleddau estuary, concerns about the technology and its effect on the marine conservation zone. Tens of thousands of litres are taken every day from the estuary to cool the 5 gas-fired turbines, and the company says it's installed the most up-to-date technology at the power station.
Anybody who's been to the site and looks at what £1 billion looks like, £1,000 million, this is not a cheap option. This is a state-of-the-art, the best available technology anywhere in the world, and it's one of the most efficient combined cycle gas turbine plants anywhere in Europe.
Concerns were first raised when the power plant was still being built. Planning consent was given by the Department of Energy in 2009, and the Environment Agency issued an environmental permit last year. The European Commission's notice of infringement lists 18 alleged violations on assessing environmental impact, protecting habitats and controlling pollution. The concerns are that over time, warmer waters would change the local ecosystem, affecting underwater plants like seaweed, as well as millions of fish and shellfish.
Increasing temperature is likely to cause these two things, killing some things and causing other things, particularly the plants perhaps, to live faster. Their metabolism will increase. If that happens, the water will become more murky. That is likely to cause things to die. As they die, they will decay.
This company, based in Neyland, exports up to 10 tonnes of shellfish to Spain every week. They claim fishermen are already feeling the impact of the power station.
We've noticed we have no more oysters from the haven, and our lobsters were coming in dying or dead. It's better now, the water's cooler for the winter, but this summer we had a particular problem, and it's the first time the haven has not kept shellfish in the 12 years that I've worked here.
Since 2004, the Countryside Council for Wales advised the government there could be a negative impact on the Cleddau estuary's conservation area. The Commission's letter reinforces those concerns and refers to a lack of assessment, especially on the power station's cooling system, as waste heat from the plant is discharged through the water into the Cleddau estuary, and says there's a history of failure and that the authorities ignored the CCW's advice to the Welsh Government that it could face a legal challenge of not protecting the environment. Most damning of all, it concludes that the water cooling system that's used is down to costs and convenience. The Environment Agency declined to be interviewed, but said they're providing the required protection for the conservation area. The UK government has another 2 weeks to respond to the Commission's letter, but according to officials in Brussels, a new cooling system may have to be installed, which would be costly for the plant owners, RWE Power.
Well, what does happen now?
Well, there's 2 weeks until that deadline for the UK government to respond, and RWE Power are in a difficult position because this document is actually addressed to the UK ministers and not to the company, so they can't actually pass comment on the technology or that controversial cooling system, which that issue was raised in the story.
Is there a possibility the place could simply be shut down, just closed?
I asked the same question to European officials myself, and they said, look, that's not what we want. It's not about closing the plant, but potentially they could be an outcome from this. But of course, also, there are 100 jobs there. It adds 10 million to the local economy. So there are other concerns as well. But there is that marine area of conservation which lots of people want to protect.
So what are the possible outcomes from this then?
Well, those officials gave me two outcomes. Essentially, it's either putting in a less environmentally damaging cooling system in the plant, or working out a way of actually a compensatory measures, which could mean that compensation is paid should there be damage in that special area of conservation over the 25-30-year history of the power plant.
And this isn't the only environmental issue in the waterway.
Well, you know, while we were looking at the details inside this infringement notice, we found out there was another one directed towards the LNG gas tankers sailing up and down the estuary, again in that protection zone. And they're also looking at that, and that second case is also been directed to the UK government.
Yola David, thank you very much.